Well, today we rode one kind of polarizing bike, the Intense Carbine 29. What'd you guys think of it?
Polarizing is a good way to describe it right off the bat, because I sort of got into a relationship with it where it was a bit of love-hate for a little bit there. Not necessarily hate, but would love it in some sections and not love it in some others.
Which are the sections? Describe that. Like, what's going on?
Okay, well, this thing is really good at just mobbing up climbs, right? You can just see a climb, it's got a bunch of rocks, it's stepping up like this, and this, and you give this thing some welly and you just fly right up it. Like the suspension, the way the bike is long, it's got plenty of traction, it goes right up it, and then you get the top and there's a really tight section, and all of a sudden it's so long now that you can't really get around. And that's what I mean. So you had this moment where you're like, that was fantastic, and now you're like, shit, I'm stuck.
Yeah, it kind of typified all those 29er characteristics we've come to believe in, all the stereotypes. They can roll over everything, it'll monster truck, and it's kind of unwieldy.
Yeah.
Because this is a really, really long one. They've not tried to hide the size of the wheels.
Long
They've played
and high,
like,
too.
Yeah, long wheelbase. But I think maybe our test loop wasn't where this kind of bike would shine, eh?
I would agree with that 100%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, our test loop is tight, and it has a lot of some slow speed moves on it, and it's not really getting up to a lot of speed until the very end, where we had a moment to really open it up, and it's not till the end where that love-hate turned more to love at the very end.
Right, you can see where the bike would excel.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's where the stability and its ability to plow through shit really came in. But I think I liked it more than probably both of you guys, but we had those sections of the trail that were a ton of exposure and kind of up and down, and like you said, tight moves around corners, and 47-inch wheelbase.
Okay.
That's really friggin' long.
Yeah.
That's an inch and a half, at least an inch longer than most people's wheelbases for a long travel 29er. You got 140 in the back with the 164, but it's just huge.
Yeah.
It's Cadillac.
It's like an inch and a half shorter than the QE2, I think, isn't it? I mean, it was like a limousine, especially on the last bit of trail, like the pigs don't fly. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
The jumpy, flowy bit.
Something was flying.
My goodness, it's such a hard bike to jump.
Yeah.
Like you need some really long radius jumps to make it work. Because by the time your front wheel was landing, your back wheel was
Did you have success getting that front wheel up?
No, it would not manual, would it? It was really hard to pick up.
Yeah, it was hard to pick up, and yeah, definitely in those situations where you wanted to pick it up, I reverted to, instead of trying to get the front wheel up, just pedaling hard into things.
Yeah, just monster truck.
Yeah, exactly.
And as far as pedaling in things, that 164, talk about things that were good. It's got a pike up front. That thing was awesome in that respect.
Fantastic fork.
Yeah,
look at it.
And some good spec. I mean, it had Cane Creek double barrel air shock, which is interesting shock, right? Because you have all the tunability of it. And I was like, oh, sweet, it's got a lockout lever. And then I used it once and never used it again because it kind of felt like crap on anything but the road when locked out. I run it open all the time.
I did run it open all the time as well, but at the same time, I appreciate all the adjustability of it, but why are they forcing us to use a tool to adjust it?
Like you're ever going to do that out on the trail, you mean?
Yeah. Because I get off the bike, or it's like, okay, all right, now I have to get a tool out and start adjusting this thing. But I really did like how it rode.
Yeah.
And I left it open.
Yeah.
Because when you do put it in climb, it does slow the rebound down a lot also.
Yeah.
So it gets really slow. So you don't want to ride this thing on the trail with that in climb mode.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I mean, and when they came out, to be fair, when Cane Creek came out, the double barrel, they said you're going to have to spend some time doing homework. You're going to have to figure out, you go out their special wrench and go on the same sections of trail and fiddle with it. High speed, rebound, low speed, rebound, high speed, low speed, compression, damping. And then you're never going to touch it again. Right? You're just going to keep the sag the right place, and there you go.
I found the setup kit that we had, and it gives the base settings, and I went from that, then set my sag accordingly with the air chamber, and that's really useful. It comes with a little pack head, and it says set high speed compression to 2 clicks, and this one, and that was really good. It's a really good base setting, and I think I felt comfortable on that, but I knew if you wanted to really spend some time and get really nerdy, you could really do something quite special with that shot.
Right.
But you've got to be that kind of person that wants to do that and wants to explore and knows what they like and can really pick up on those things. And I don't think everybody's going to be into that.
No, it's not a shock for everybody. You have to. I mean, the cool thing is once you've done that hard work, you can kind of just keep it there, right? But if you don't understand the settings and you don't want to fiddle and put in the time, you're not going to walk away happy with it. I thought it performed really well. I thought the suspension.
I did too, absolutely.
There are a couple of things that were cool. I thought it's got XO1 drivetrain on it.
Yeah.
So that was cool, the single ring kit.
Yeah.
It felt, despite being a huge monster spike, it felt reasonably light. It's 27, I think, 0.7 pounds, which is, when you give how big the bike is, that's actually pretty damn impressive. Sub 6 pound frame, just pretty cool.
And this bike does have carbon wheels on it.
Yeah, the carbon wheels.
Carbon, right.
Let's just say that, the carbon wheels again.
Brawler rims.
There you have it. So I mean, that's going to kind of contribute to the low weight of this bike.
Right. Yeah. No, it's got NV carbon wheels, which, you know, I mean.
Yeah. And there's some nice details on this frame. There was one that we were just chatting about a minute ago. Is they do done a nice job getting the internal cable routing, but then they've done something that confused me a little bit. Is that they've done the stealth routing on the post, right? And then all of a sudden the routing comes out of the frame right at the bottom bracket area and then goes outside the frame to there. So it's like it's already in the frame. Why didn't we just leave it in the frame?
Right, so it's like 70% external, 30% internal.
Yes.
Which is kind of a weird way to internally.
Weird way of doing it. But it was quiet. The internal cable routing was quiet. I didn't hear it slapping around in there. That was a nice thing.
That's a big thing to point out, actually. We were testing a lot of bikes with stealth routing, and they just bang around in that frame, and you think your head tube's going to break off. What was that noise on every single drop? What was that?
That kind of stuff does drive me around the bend. Like noisy bikes, noisy internal cable routing. This bike felt quiet.
Yeah,
it was quiet, actually. So, yeah, even though that did confuse me, I was still happy that it was quiet.
You know, where do you guys think, what would be the ideal trail? Like, obviously, our test loop is the best, right? It's tight, it's slow speed, it's technical. Where then is the best place for this bike?
I think it could take those technical climbs. Granted, there's not too many switchbacks, but it would just reward someone that had really fast up and downhill trails.
I was going to say, I think I'd have a really nice time with this bike on the whole enchilada in Moab.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Coming down all the way and then finishing off with UPS, LPS, Porcupine, and that's just all that chunder up there. And this thing is big wheels, suspension's great, it's fast as you want to go.
I think it also would suit the kind of rider as well who's a bit of a brawler. I think you'd need like a bit of mass and a bit of strength to like move this bike around to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's not the most nimble, it's not the most light. It doesn't pick up, it doesn't lift so easy. So if you're the kind of rider that likes to just keep those wheels to the ground but just hammer into like rough terrain, this could be the kind of brawler bike for you.
Yeah.